Hi, I'm Duey Evans. I'm an entrepreneur. You might ask, well, really, what is an entrepreneur? Is it somebody who just runs around and chases dreams? Well, it is a person who has dreams. And I've had dreams for pretty much my whole life. Dreams of changing the world, dreams of changing things nobody's ever done before. I have to have those because it's my family legacy. In my family, we do something called plowing unfurrowed ground. For my grandfather, it was graduating from Harvard in 1925, even though he could only get a job as a chauffeur because that's all a black man in America could do in 1925. For a lot of my family, it was purchasing land and building houses and being in places where African Americans traditionally weren't. Well, mine's been about trying to give opportunities to other people. And I've been chasing that dream for a long time. And I think I have a story to tell. And I'm creating an even longer story. But I'm going to take you back about 25 years. I decided I wanted to work with young people. Why did I want to work with young people? Well, my mom was a middle school guidance counselor, and she was somebody that really felt like it was our responsibility to give people chances that others wouldn't. And I wanted to be like her, because my mom was that person that could sit in a room and not say much, and have everyone around her be in a state of disarray, and then say very clearly, I think you were saying this, and you were actually saying the same thing, but you were saying it different, and could we come to a consensus and the meeting would end? And I wanted to be like that. And I've never quite figured it out, but I'm getting a whole lot closer. Then I started my journey in sports. I just decided that was my place. I was passionate about sports. Sports was the thing that had given me opportunities. When I got the call from the recruiter at West Point, it was because my high school football coach said, you don't understand, he's the sleeper of the East, and he skipped a grade, so he's a year younger than everybody else, and he's gonna mature into... And sports held a place for me. And then while at West Point, one of the first things I had to memorize was MacArthur's definition of athletics, which was, upon the fields of friendly strife, are sown the seeds which upon other fields on other days will bear the fruits of victory. Well, I decided that was where I needed to spend my time. And is it going to be football or is it going to be tennis? And I kind of decided, well, I could probably eke out an existence as a tennis coach much easier than climbing the rungs of football. But it really wasn't about sport. It was about the things that sport provided. So I went on a journey, and along that journey I did things like take a job as director of development and athletic director at a brand new private boarding school to teach gifted education to African American kids and to find out what that was all about. And I got involved in the USTA, and I was on committees and chairman of the New England Community Development Committee and started nonprofits and did all of these things. And the closer I got to being part of the establishment, the more I felt like I wasn't doing what I was called to do, which was impact lives and help people create their stories. And then I got mad. I got really mad because I felt like people were selling out and they were the ones getting all the attention. And so I did things like what I'm doing now, only different. I called it initially, I called it rants and raves. And I spent a lot of time calling out all the injustices that I saw in the world. And then I said, wow, that's one angry dude. So let's tone it down a little and change the name. So I changed it to That's How I See It. And it was all about me trying to be folksy, and here's how I see the world, and here's how other people should see the world, because my point of view has matter. And then I figured out there's a lot of other stories that are more important, and if I could help other people tell those stories and get them out, it would be even better. So I started a blog talk radio thing called Tennis 2020, and I chronicled some of the great stories of people who were trying to make change happen in the world. Did things like interviewed Bob Ryland, who was the first African-American tennis professional, and Bob Davis, who was the executive director of Arthur Ashe's Safe Passage Foundation and created Black Dynamics at the IMG Academies. And Art Carrington was probably the greatest historian of African-American tennis. And that was really, really fun. And I felt it was really being important. But I also felt like I had a story of my own, which needed to get out. But it couldn't get out because it wasn't done being developed. So I went to work, and I got a tennis facility, and I built programs, and I built players. And I'm fortunate, some of the players I've worked with have done really well. As a matter of fact, young man that I was a meaningful part of his journey, and if you watched the movie 50,000 Balls, you saw me pull him off the court in Boys 12 hard courts, is now the #1 college player in the United States. Well, it was fun being part of his journey. But there's a lot more journeys to be a part of. And so I tried to expand what I was doing, and I tried to get more involved again with the establishment, and lo and behold, they wouldn't have me. So no matter how much I reached out to the PTR and said, I have a facility and I'd love to have you come out and do coach education here. First it was no, we don't have time in our schedule, and now it's we don't even talk to you. No matter how many times I reached out to USTA Texas and said, geez, I have a wealth of experience, have been on a sectional board of directors and been chairman of community development for a section. Nope, our volunteer rosters are full, we don't need you. Well, now I hear Katrina Adams, who happens to be the first African-American president of the United States Tennis Association. She also happens to be the first former player to hold that role, is the president. And she's looking to get more Hispanics involved. Well, I operate a tennis center which sits on the border of an almost exclusively Hispanic community. Katrina, come on out and talk to me. But I need it to be you. Because that's what I expect as the CEO of my business. I expect the CEO of the United States Tennis Association to come talk to me. Not a business development manager, not somebody from the CTA, not somebody from the minority participation, give people a place to gripe committee, but you. Reach out. You handed me the award last year when we won the Outstanding Facility Award, so you met me. And we've met other places, and we have certainly a lot of common friends. Reach out. Because over the next few years, I'm going to take who I am, the entrepreneur. And what is an entrepreneur again? An entrepreneur is the guy that dreams. He's the one that has a vision. He's not the manager. He's not the coach. Those are vital roles in every organization, and it takes that to get it done. But I'm the guy with the vision. Come talk to me. Because we're going to take, and so here's some solid stuff. We're going to take various means of developing tennis players. Red, orange, green, although we're going to take a bunch of orange kids on an orange court with orange balls. And we're going to compare them to another group of beginners taught on a regular court with regular balls. And if I can have my way, we're going to find a room. And we're going to cover it in mirrors. And we're going to do something I've only heard about, which is we're going to put kids in those rooms and we're going to train them with no balls until it looks perfect. Well, not close to perfect, but for 6 months. And then we're going to let all of those groups loose. But I need people. I need sociologists. I need people like Margaret Mead who really believe that a small group of people can change the world to come on board with me and change it. I need statisticians. I need people who understand social media. I understand, you know, we have a 501c3, which is how we've traditionally raised money for people that, you know, for projects like this. But it isn't necessarily how it's being done anymore. We might have to start it out with crowdfunding. We're certainly not going to bootstrap it, because I've been bootstrapping forever, and it's time to start using some other people's money, to be honest with you. Or maybe we're going to do staged funding. We're not going to get all the money we need for the whole thing, but give us some money here to get us this far at smaller valuation, and maybe we have to give up a smaller piece, and then when we get down the road, we get more. Well, that's how we're going to do it. There's a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of places to change the world. But tennis is a place full of people that believe because it's always been like that, it should always be like that. I actually believe because it's always been like that, it probably shouldn't be like that anymore. So, why am I sitting here in front of the camera instead of just buckling down and going and doing the work? Well, I do the work every day. I have a tennis center that I run that we've increased what we do year over year for 56 out of the 57 months that we've been there. That's about doing the work day in and day out. I have a group of girls who really want to be good. And we're using tennis as a means to keep them out of all of the things that girls go through as they go through adolescence, of societal pressures to not be athletic, to not be smart, to not be funny, because we want to look good for boys. Well, our program, the most athletic kids are girl, in that program anyways. We're doing that every single solitary day. And so I have my head down against the grindstone. But that's only going to impact a small number of people, because even though I run a great big tennis center, well, kind of big, 18, compared to the overall world, I can only touch a minute little fraction. But if I can create a digital division of my company, and we can do things like follow us around with cameras and chronicle all of this and develop white papers and put out our opinion and give people ideas and tell the stories of countless people who are trying real hard to give themselves, their kids, and others a chance to do uncommon things in everyday kind of common places. Well, maybe we can give somebody that little bit of hope, or maybe we can connect people in a place with somebody that's going to be the linchpin or the catalyst for their success. Maybe we just keep them going a little bit longer, knowing they're not alone anymore. That's what I'm going to be doing. I need a lot of really committed people, because I'm actually really tired of most people that say they're committed to something and don't want to dump everything into it. I thought I was crazy because I gave up a lot to do this. But I certainly didn't give up, what Nelson Mandela gave up to get rid of apartheid in South Africa, or many other people gave up to make great things happen in the world. So I was ready to give up, but instead I'm going to keep giving up. And I want other people around who are going to do the same. Don't tell me you want to be part of it, but you'll only have a little bit of time, because other thing, I don't need that. I understand where your life is, and that's great, but it doesn't mesh with what I've got to get done with the rest of my life. If you'd like to be around, reach out to me. If you just want to watch the videos, that's cool too. Take care.